Hey girlfriend, this is Jan James. Welcome to the Hope After Breast Cancer podcast, where women who have endured breast cancer learn to have fulfillment over frustration, clarity over confusion, and faith over fear. We tackle the issues that many of our sisters face after a breast cancer diagnosis, from brain fog to fear of recurrence, from menopause to sex after breast cancer. This is the place to learn how to have hope after breast cancer. So strap yourself in. Welcome to the Hope After Breast Cancer podcast. True confession, I've been receiving incredible guidance and wisdom from my personal counselor and life coach, Cinthia Hiett, for well over 30 years. And since becoming a breast cancer advocate, I have been known to ask her if we can record portions of our sessions together so I can share her wisdom with our community. This is one of those times. Enjoy. So Cinthia, tell me the difference between surviving and thriving.
Well, I think it's a great question. Like I have talked to you in the past, you really do have to survive in order to thrive. Very few of us go straight to thriving. And thriving actually means that I'm being the best version of me, that I have the energy, the information I need to make the decisions that help me have the best quality of life. Thriving means I have a good relationship with myself, and the better relationship I have with me, the less conflict I have with me, the better my relationships are going to be with others, even if they are in conflict with themselves. So I will handle much better somebody that's a complicated person. Because we're really striving more for complexity, not complication. So the thriving person is a very uncomplicated person that is actually very aware of their faults, their weaknesses, their the plus, the minus, what they're really good at, what they're not good at. They don't have, high degrees of shame. The shame is that a very high thriving person would be shame over something very specific that they know that they could forgive themselves, move on, and learn from. And so people that are thriving are also at peace with themselves. It doesn't mean they're at peace with everything they do. It doesn't mean they're at peace with everything they've experienced, but they can have a modicum of peace within themselves to know that overall, I'm going to commit enough of me to me so that I can figure my life out, so that the life that I live is beneficial to others as well as to myself. And then I give myself the opportunity to learn from mistakes, knowing that the only way that humans learn is by making mistakes.
That's awesome. So I work with so many women who I think feel stuck, that they've got the label of survivor, right. But you taught me it's not enough to just survive.
That's right.
Can you talk about that?
Well, I think the hardest part about just surviving, if that's the goal, then the quality of life, what was the battle for to begin with? If all you did was survive it, then what are you left with? And so this is where we want to say to people, the first step in health is if you are overcoming a major disorder, a major disease of any type, a major injury of any kind, I have to be able to get back to at least ground zero. And so if I'm trying to jump 20 feet before I've ever even gotten barely, above level, then I'm going to be overwhelming myself and I'll probably quit. And so I have to take it in little steps at a time, and I have to say that's a good vision for me to have, which would be at that thriving place. That place where, wow, I've learned from this, I'm a better person because of it. I've been introduced to a whole bunch of new people that I have met. I have some modicum of health now for myself. I have a good regime. But in order to get there, we have to start with saying, am I committed to surviving? Because that in and of itself can be very overwhelming. You more than anybody. You know plenty of women, plenty of men even. It's like, there are some people that say, I have cancer, then I'll die from it, I don't want to fight it. And that's an understandable thought that someone could have, because it is quite a very heavy endeavor. However, What we're wanting to tell people is that's a natural way to feel, but we don't want you to believe it.
Right.
We want to take little steps at a time so that as you take those steps, you get more energy to know it is worth surviving, to then be having a life of thriving. And be willing to invest that much in yourself.
Thank you. Girlfriend, thank you so much for listening to our podcast. I hope you found some nuggets to encourage you and give you hope. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast. You never want to miss an episode, and we'd love to know how we're doing, so please be sure to leave us a review. Until next time, this is Jan James encouraging you to remember there is hope after breast cancer. See you next time.